This is pre-workout. It's one of the most popular gym supplements and is known for increased energy, strength, and endurance. But what does it actually do to your body? Well, our nervous system is made up of two parts, the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. Within the peripheral nervous system, you have the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. Your sympathetic nervous system is responsible for the fight or flight response, whereas the parasympathetic nervous system is responsible for recovery and storing energy. It is known as rest and digest. When you consume high-stim pre-workouts, the stimulants, most commonly caffeine, affect your sympathetic nervous system, which results with you entering that fight or flight state. Many health websites recommend no more than 400 milligrams of caffeine daily. In terms of pre-workout, try and limit your dose to 200 milligrams if you're a caffeine drinker, because then during the day, if you drink coffee or energy drinks, you don't exceed that 400 milligram target. But in my opinion, 400 milligrams is still quite a lot, and I'll get into why. Fight or flight isn't a bad thing. It's a crucial survival mechanism that keeps us, and more often our ancestors, alive. When you enter this state, a number of physiological changes happen. Blood is directed to your larger muscle groups to prep you to take action. Your digestion stops, your pupils dilate, and your heart rate and blood pressure increases. There are two main hormones that are released which cause all of these changes: adrenaline and cortisol. Unfortunately, high cortisol over time has a range of negative long-term side effects. High stress and anxiety, weight gain, high blood pressure, muscle weakness, mood disorders, and cognitive impairment. However, it's not all bad news, because the parasympathetic nervous system helps to reduce your cortisol. Cortisol can also be reduced by things like quality sleep, well-balanced diets, and managing stress. So taking high-stim pre-workout daily is pretty counterintuitive, especially if you can't control your cortisol levels. One of the main mistakes I see people make is taking pre at night, making it impossible for them to get a quality sleep, resulting in not only high cortisol levels overall, but a heap of additional negative side effects that come with bad sleep. You may have heard of Andrew Huberman talk about adenosine before. If not, adenosine is a chemical that builds up throughout the day, giving you physiological symptoms of tiredness, such as heavy eyelids. When you have caffeine, it acts as a barrier against your adenosine receptors, so you don't feel those symptoms of tiredness, which is why taking caffeine late at night is such a bad idea. It's important to take pre-workout at least 6 hours before bed to ensure a quality sleep and decrease the risk of experiencing the long-term side effects. Here are some other ways to get better sleep. Look into sunlight as soon as you wake up to reprogram the circadian rhythm. Look into sunlight in the afternoon to limit the effects screens have at night. Reduce screen time before bed. Establish a consistent sleep schedule. Limit day naps, and exercise during the day. Alrighty, so far we've covered how pre-workouts can increase your long-term cortisol levels. But that's not all they do. I'm sure most of us have been or are addicted to caffeine at the moment. But unfortunately, pre-workout commonly contains extremely high doses of caffeine. 400 milligrams per serve. It's easy to consume this high amount of caffeine without thinking about it, especially if you're new to supplements. Having this much caffeine in one sitting is highly likely to create an addiction over time if taken daily. The body will become reliant on taking pre-workout every single day, even when you don't go to the gym. If you stop taking pre-workout once an addiction is set, there are many side effects of caffeine withdrawal, which include headaches, fatigue, low energy, irritability, anxiety, difficulty with concentration, depressed moods, and tremors. Moreover, another way caffeine triggers headaches is by its effects on blood vessels in the brain. It can cause vasoconstriction, narrowing of blood cells, followed by vasodilation, widening of blood cells, which can lead to immediate headaches or migraines for some of us. Pre-workouts also make you dehydrated, primarily because caffeine is known as a diuretic. Diuretics increase the production of urine, leading to more frequent urination and potential fluid loss. So when you take pre-workout and then you go and work out, you might get dehydrated pretty quickly because you'll be sweating as well. So just make sure to keep your water up. Pre-workouts can contribute to tooth and gum deterioration. Most flavored pre's don't include sugar, which is a bonus. However, they do include sweeteners like sucralose and acesulfame potassium. My dentist actually told me that these are more acidic and harmful to your dental health than just sugar. She also told me if I'm going to drink them, just rinse your mouth out with water after. You may have noticed when you take pre, it doesn't sit well in your stomach. Well, pre-workout supplements can cause stomach issues due to ingredients like caffeine, sodium bicarbonate, and magnesium. These ingredients may irritate the digestive system or increase stomach acid. If you've made it this far, here's my answer to the question you're probably asking. Should you take pre-workout? Pre-workout isn't a vital supplement to increase muscle mass and hit your health and fitness goals. However, it can definitely help out, providing significant boosts in energy, strength, and endurance. Take into consideration these effects and the ways to help limit them to reduce the negative impact. Caffeine was the most talked about ingredient in this video. So if you take anything away, just try and lower your caffeine use.